The Cabin in the Woods. In the dense heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled amidst towering pines and ancient oaks, there stood an old cabin, long forgotten by time. It was a relic of a bygone era, its timbers weathered and its windows caked with grime. Its history was a tapestry of unsettling tales, whispered by locals around campfires on moonless nights. And, as fate would have it, I found myself spending a spine-chilling weekend within its decaying walls. The decision to stay in the cabin was born of my insatiable curiosity for the unknown. The stories I'd heard, told of ethereal apparitions and inexplicable happenings, had ignited deep curiosity within me. I knew I had to confront my fears and uncover the deep, dark secrets that lay within. As I approached the cabin that crisp autumn evening, a shiver ran down my spine. The woods around it seemed to sigh, as if the ancient trees themselves warned me to turn back. I disregarded the warning and continued towards the cabin. That's when I then noticed some strange markings on the door. I stepped inside, a pungent mustiness gripped my senses, and the air felt heavier, laden with a sense of foreboding. The cabin's interior was as time-worn as its exterior, the wooden floors creaking beneath my boots as if they groaned in protest against my intrusion. Night fell swiftly, and I huddled by the flickering light of a lantern. It was then that I heard it, a mournful, disembodied voice that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the cabin. I strained to discern the words, and a name emerged, Eleanor. Chilled to the bone, I frantically searched the cabin for the source of the voice. The air grew colder, and I felt an unseen presence brush against me. Panic seized me as I stumbled upon an old journal, its pages yellowed with age. The name, Eleanor, appeared repeatedly in its entries, accompanied by cryptic references to a lost love and a tragic fate. As the night wore on, the cabin seemed to awaken with a life of its own. Objects moved of their own accord, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Whispers filled the air, their origin impossible to trace. The journal's entries became increasingly erratic, detailing strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and the writer's growing desperation. I was no longer alone, the unseen presence had become a malevolent force. I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the cabin, approaching me with deliberate intent. A shiver ran down my spine as I turned to confront my tormentor, only to find an empty room. I contemplated fleeing, but a relentless curiosity kept me from leaving. I knew what I had to do. Sitting in the dim light, I began to speak aloud, addressing the entity that seemed to haunt the cabin. Eleanor, I implored, if you're here, show yourself. Tell me your story. For a moment, there was silence, and then a chilling response. An apparition materialized before me. It was a young woman, her eyes hollow and her expression filled with sorrow. She spoke in a voice that quivered with longing, recounting a love lost to tragedy. Eleanor's spirit, it seemed, had been trapped within these walls for centuries, unable to find peace. As her story unfolded, I learned of a forbidden romance between Eleanor and a young man named Samuel. Their love had been torn asunder by a jealous suitor, resulting in Samuel's untimely demise. Eleanor had been so consumed by grief that she had taken her own life, forever binding her spirit to the place where she had suffered so greatly. Over the course of that haunting night, I listened to Eleanor's tale, offering her the solace of a sympathetic ear. As dawn broke, her spectral form dissipated, and a profound sense of peace descended upon the cabin. In the days that followed, I shared Eleanor's story with the locals, who confirmed the tragic legend of the cabin in the woods. Some claimed to have heard her voice on quiet nights, a mournful lament carried on the wind. My encounter with Eleanor's spirit left me with a newfound respect for the mysteries of the world beyond our understanding. The cabin in the woods, once a place of fear and uncertainty, had become a testament to the enduring power of love and the restless souls who remain tethered to the places they once called home. It was a unique and haunting experience that forever changed my understanding of the supernatural, chillingly reminding me that some mysteries should remain unsolved.